Hi everyone, this lesson goes over some of the place-value relationships. So as you see from the chart below, the first thing in the middle giving is ones. And you should know that that's the only thing on the list that doesn't have a pair. And let me show you what it means by a pair. So there are two place values right next to the ones. The first one is the tenths on the right and tens on the left, which the tenths is 1 over 10, which is 0.1, while the tens is 10 over 1 or 10 whole. The one right next to them is hundredths on the left and hundredths on the right, which the place values are 1 over 100, which is 0.01 or 100 over 1 and 100 whole in decimal form. And going forward, the one right next to them is thousandths on the left and thousands on the right, and in number format. Going forward, the one right next to is 10,000ths, and the one on the left is 10,000s without a th, which when you translate that into numbers, the one right next to it is 100,000ths, and the matching place value on the left is 100,000s without a th again. And the last one on the list is millionth, and I'm sure you can write that on your own, so I'm going to leave that blank. So how are these numbers related to the powers of 10, which we can also call this the base 10? So the first number we will start with is the ones. And how do you write it as a base 10, which is 10 as the base? The only way to make 10 as a 1 is writing the exponent of 0, which an exponent of 0 will turn any number into 1, followed by this one, which is 10 to the power of negative 1, and the one on the left is 10 to the power of 1 whole to get a 10. To continue, this is 10 to the power of negative 2, and the one on the left is 10 to the power of 2, which is a positive number, followed by the right side 10 to the power of negative 3, and this one is 10 to the power of 3 as a positive number. So there's a few things that I want to rub up in writing on this slide. The first thing is that the only thing that does not have a matching place value on this list is the ones, because the numerator and denominator in this case is the same number. The second fact is that on place values, the numbers are not following the number line format, where the numbers on the left is actually bigger compared to the number on the right, which is actually smaller. So let's write this down. In this next slide, we will go over how to read fractions and write it in words and turning that into decimals. The first thing you should notice is that on this list, all the numbers are base 10s, and that really helps when you write it in words, because the way you read it is the way you write it. So let's begin. First one says 500th, so you write as you say. And the next one reads 64,000th because of the denominator. The one follows reads 14/10,000th because of the denominator again. The last one reads 504/100th. Something that I need to point out on the last one is the fact that when I write 504, I did not write it with the word and right here, as you see, because when you're writing the word and, it actually means a decimal place value, and given that 504 does not have a decimal place value, please do not include the word and in it. The only time you can use the word and is in this case, 64 and 5/10. Now let's come back to complete the decimal column. Because we are reading this as the hundredth, you will first start by listing the place values that get to the hundredth, which is 2 lines, tenth and hundredth. And you start filling the number in backward, which is from the back. So you will put the 5 to the end, and whenever there's an empty space, you fill it in with the 0. The next one reads 64 thousandth, and thousandth is 3 place values from the decimal point, so we need 3 lines, tenth, hundredth, thousandth, and you will begin filling in again backward from the end. So you put the 4 here, you put the 6 here, and again there's an empty space, so you put a 0 to fill in the empty place value. 14 10,000ths is 4 spaces away from the decimal point, and you will again begin by filling in backward with the 4 here and the 1 that makes 14. The remaining place value, you leave it with the 0 to fill in the gap. And the last one, you have hundredth, which is 2 spaces from the decimal point, and you start filling in with the 4 and a 0, since we have a 5 that we need to fill in, and it goes in the front, so that's where the hole is. So that means that this fraction can also be written as 5 and 400th. That's another way to rewrite the same thing as 500 400ths. So let's write down a few facts about what we did. 1. You always preset the place value line according to the denominator. 2. You fill in the number starting from the back, which is the end. 3. If there's any empty spaces, you fill in those spaces with zeros. Okay, that's it for this lesson.